Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. I'm just out with my dog for a walk in the evening, and this is a church that's like right behind my house, nearby. Um, and we've also got this gorgeous like full moon that is so big it looks like one of the traffic lights behind me. So pretty. But yeah, um, I just wanted to film a quick VR. Um, I'm trying to find a place to put this stupid phone. I'm not good at working with the phone. Anyway, I usually use my laptop in my sunroom, but I was going for a walk. It's a beautiful evening, and I was listening to Becca Tarot Night Owl. And Becca, my heart goes out to you right now. I really feel you. I get it. I get the financial fuckery, and the sense that, going from month to month is just, it's like torture. I don't think you follow my channel, but I had a really bad week last week where I'd worked for a full month as a substitute teacher and got to the very end of the month only to find that on the payday where I was expected to get like, a lot of money, like a decent little amount of money. Instead of getting that, I ended up with like $175, which is just, it doesn't go very far. Suffice it to say, it was rough. And I find myself frequently in the similar position to the one that you described. And as I was walking along and just giving space to that and taking it in, something that came to me was, there are, what all of the logical answers are, right? You know that the big logical answers, like watching finances, don't make impulse buys, all of those things. I can tell you, I don't do much of that myself, and I still frequently find myself in the place that you described, where I'm still just a little overdrawn, or there's very little left at the end of the month. And I don't know that I have anything to show for it, right? And the fact of the matter is, even if you do everything in your power, to stay on top of things, it doesn't mean that that horrible feeling is going to go away. There's still, we make the impulse buys, we want the more stuff, because there's something inside that feels like it's not completely whole. There's something inside that feels like there's things that are missing. And so, we buy the deck, or we buy, it could be anything. It could be buying shoes. It could be, it could be overeating. She said burping. It could be sex. It could be anything. As humans, we do that. We try to find those things that if we just get that one thing, we'll feel whole, we'll feel better. Only to find that we get it and we just feel worse. Because then instead of just being able to enjoy the thing that we wanted, suddenly we're filled with shame, or we're filled with regret. And it tends to feed that sense of unworthiness and that sense of not enoughness. It makes the gap and the hole inside a little bit wider and a little bit bigger. The one thing in my life that I found really deeply helped with that, besides therapy, which I recommend highly. I know that it's something that people are frequently afraid of. They don't want to have to go into therapy, or, it's got a lot of stigma in terms of like mental health and so on. But honestly, like in terms of just mental wellness, I found therapy to be an incredible tool. But it does, even that, it doesn't help with the immediate kind of sick, awful sense that we get inside of us. What does help is empathy. If you can pause, if I can pause when I have those moments, I can only really talk from my own experience anyway, but if I can pause when I'm having that moment and remind myself it's okay, whatever it is, it's not permanent, right? It's not permanent. You'll get another paycheck at the end of the month. The dry spell will go away, the financial dry spell. Something will change. It's not going to be permanent, in other words. And then I can take another deep breath and just remember, like, if I were talking to my best friend, if my best friend came to me and said, wow, Nat, I feel horrible. I just did this one thing. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. I'm really angry with myself. It makes me hate myself. It makes me feel pathetic or, in some way unworthy or unlovable. What would I say, to that best friend? Because most of us are so capable of coming up with those gems and beauties when someone else is in need, right? The way I'm doing right now. Becca and I, we don't know each other, but the fact that you're hurting really hurts me. I feel sad, and mostly I feel sad because I can see that you're a really good person. You're a really good human being. You've inspired a lot of people. A lot of people really, really love you and love your channel. And I identify with that feeling. I know what it's like, and it hurts. And it's so hard to be with. It's so hard to be with. And it's not your fault. And it'll be okay. If I can, in those moments, right, if I could be that way that I just was now with myself and stop turning the knife, right? We get angry or we get upset about something and it makes us angry, right? So we either turn it outward as blame against the system, against people, or we take it and we turn it inward and we turn it towards ourselves, right? If I can pause long enough to say, okay, I see that I've got the knife, I've got to put it down. And what, if I were talking to someone else, what would I say? And then if I can pause and do that and offer those words to myself, which sounds so ridiculous, and yet it's the most, over time, just through doing it and being willing to try because I hurt so badly, it has changed my life. And all for the better. So I offer that as just as a starting point. If you can't summon that up, and sometimes we can't, another way to do it is to imagine a person or a pet, a deity, that you completely trust. Our mentor sometimes is a good one, that you completely trust, that you completely know has your best interests at heart and really loves you. And imagine that person really just, if I can close my eyes long enough and just see, in my mind's eye, that person that I love, and know that, what would that person, what would that mentor, or what would that deity want me to know about my situation or about me? it never comes out as being chastised or being told to pull myself up by my bootstraps or, come on, suck it up and move forward. It's never that kind of thing. It's always so loving. It's always so beautiful and so gentle. And it doesn't matter whether I'm, visualizing, I don't usually visualize deities. Usually I visualize people, maybe like my favorite Buddhist teacher, Haju Sunim, up in Ann Arbor. She can be so gentle and so kind and so loving and so simple, and if I can hear her voice and see her face, it's always so filled with love. And, her words to me are always so kind and so gentle. And they tend to remind me like, you're going to be okay. You're in control of this. You are a wonderful human being and it's okay. So whether it's summoning that up or whether it's summoning up your own inner best friend, right? The same best friend that you would offer to someone else that you love deeply, to say, it's going to be okay. You're okay. It can change everything. You can't always change your immediate circumstances. They will change one way or the other. They will, because they do. But sometimes in those moments, it is helpful to remember that even though I can't change the circumstances around me, I can find a way to handle it, and sometimes the best way to do that is through just empathy. Just empathy that's self-directed. Look, you tried your best. This was really hard. This was a really hard month. This was a really hard time, and it's okay. It's really okay. And if you can stay with that and you can stay with whatever, feeling or emotion comes up with it, just long enough to just be with it. Take a breath, really feel it in your body. I find that the feeling that's there, that I notice in my body, whether it's in my chest or in my gut, those are common places, or in my jaw. A lot of times I'll get tense in my jaw. If I can stay long enough with it, it will start to release. And that too is impermanent. It can't stay around for very long. At moments, things are hard enough that it has to become a process. And it just is something that I have to keep coming back to and revisiting and revisiting and revisiting over and over and over again in a day or a week even. But it's worth doing. It's really, really deeply worth doing. And again, like, we don't know each other. I came and visited your live chat the other night, the one where people were, you were talking about your first experience with the tarot deck, and conversation turned to things that were rather unmentionable and kind of gross. I made comments about it. And I've certainly enjoyed watching your channel over time a lot. You're a good human being, and you're going to be okay. And it's none of this is your fault. It's really not. I'm just really sorry that this is how it is for you right now. And this is the best I got to offer. So I really hope, I just really hope it helps. So that's it. Yeah, all the best, kindest wishes that I can possibly summon up from my heart to yours. I offer those out to you. Hang in there. Okay, bye.